Howdy there, folks. I'm wondering if I can beat Pokemon Shield with only a single Frosmoth. Now, the reason I'm not starting with Snom first is because it only knows like 2 moves through level up, which is, not the best. Now, I actually start off the challenge by choosing Sobble, since I still don't know how to change starters in Sword and Shield, but I did add in a Frosmoth with me as its OT named Leaf. He's modest nature. The first fight is Leaf obliterating Hop's team, which is wonderful. When we hear a crash in the Slumbering World as well, that's not as wonderful. We end up getting caught in the fog, meet Wolf Bro, and then get saved by Leon. I head over to Motostoke to sign up for the gym challenge and fight some Team Yell Grunts with Hop and then attend the opening ceremony. Now then, it's a battle against Hop. Leaf one-shots Wooloo. I have Leaf stun Spore the Scorbunny, and it's almost as if he's trying to lose, as he just doesn't use any fire moves whatsoever. Which, you know, I know Scorbunny has. He just doesn't use any. I'm over here spamming Struggle Bug since it does slightly more than Powder Snow. This ends up killing Scorbunny, and you know, then Rookity comes out and gets one shot with the Powder Snow because it's an ice move. Now then, I make my way through the mine until I reach a weird dude, just standing there, being smug at the end of a cave. He wants to fight me. Oh well, his funeral. First is Solos, it's dead. How about Gothut? Also dead. Haten? Nope, dead. Well, that's what he gets for being a psychic trainer against Leaf. I also have a gym challenge to do where I walk around and herd some cupcakes, and also Leader Milo. His first dies in 2 hits from a wildly underleveled Leaf, and then I Dynamax him to take on Milo's Eldegoss. It dies in 2 bug moves. I kinda doubt the next 2 will be this easy, especially Kabbu, since fire is good against ice and bug. And now then, it's Hop, who as always starts with his Wooloo, who only knows how to bonk. 3 struggle bugs finish it off due to healing items. Out next is Reboot, who gets Stun Spore, and once more, it doesn't use its fire moves and dies a slow and painful death. Corvisquire also gets one shot by Powder Snow because it's a flying type against an ice move. Next up is Nessa. She has a maze thing I need to solve with water valves. Oh well, I don't care. First up is Goldeen, takes 2 struggle bugs. Arrokuda goes down in 2 as well, and finally Dreadnought. It Dynamaxes and then one-shots Leaf. Returning, Leaf 2-shots Goldeen, one-shots the Arrokuda, Nessa Dynamaxes Dreadnought, and I do the same with Leaf. He takes a max darkness easily and is then crit by Max Strike. However, he 2-shots Dreadnought. This time Smug Boy shows up once more, and this time he has a Ponyta. And everything still dies in 1 hit. Marnie is up next, her Krogunk dies to an Aurora Beam. Scraggy barely survives a Struggle Bug, but then gets healed and dies to an Aurora Beam. Morpeko is out next, and it dies to a Struggle Bug as well. That's what you get for being Dark types. Up next is the Motostoke Gym. I have to obliterate Pokemon in this. Leaf, however, is the one who gets obliterated. I have Leaf level up to 35 and he learns Bug Buzz along the way. Now then, Kabbu. I Dynamax immediately due to fears of getting obliterated by fire. But even the Ninetales survives the first max move, though Arcanine does end up getting one shot. This leaves an undynamaxed Leaf to take on the G-Max Centiskorch, who obviously one-shots him. I try some strategy and it just doesn't work. Leaf learns Blizzard, so I test out a few more ideas throughout though. However, I come to the same conclusion, that I need to have max health to survive Centiskorch. I have Leaf use Blizzard and just hope it hits. Then I Dynamax him to guarantee a hit on Arcanine. It one-shots, leaving G-Max Centiskorch. Leaf does do a good amount of damage to it and then survives a G-Max move, and then he kills it with the second. And with that, I've beaten Kabbu. I've got another battle with Hop now. His team is similar, except he doesn't have his Corvisquire, but a Cramorant instead, which still dives to an Aurora Beam. Then Reboot gets hit with a Bug Buzz and still refuses to actually attack Leaf. Instead of attacking, he just starts spamming Agility instead. He just doesn't want to kill me. Coward! Next up is the Stow-on-Side Gym, which means I have to go down in a rotating thing, or whatever. It's Spooky Ghost time. Starting off with Allister, it's Galarian Yamask, which is weak to Ice because it's a ground type. Next out is Cursula, whose type I keep forgetting. It takes a Blizzard to kill because I forgot about type resistances, and Mimikyu is out next and outspeeds and uses Home Claws twice. I Dynamax Leaf so he doesn't die to a powerful hit from the Mimikyu. Next is G-Max Gengar, which is faster and kills Leaf. I return almost immediately to try my luck again. This time, I have Leaf use Hail turn 1, while Yamask wastes his turn disabling it. It's Blizzard in time, as Cursula barely survives and then does a ton of damage with Ancient Power. It dies to the Hail though, thankfully. Mimikyu gets frozen from the Blizzard that breaks its disguise. It then immediately thaws out the very next turn and uses Slash. Gengar's out next and it max poisons and it barely doesn't kill. Leaf max Hailstorms and kills it. Next out is Bead, who is here destroying art. Bug Buzz obliterates everything. Next I arrive at Balonlay. I get to go up and fight a bunch of people before I can face Opal. It's an audition for the position of Fairy-type Gym Leader. And, seeing as I only have a single Frosmoth, which is a Bug Ice type, I don't know if I'm the right candidate. It's time for Opal. And as always, I have Leaf start out with Hail.
Opal is known as the Wizard.
Weezing goes down to a Blizzard and Togekiss is out next. Oh, it's a flying type. Mawile is out next and thankfully gets one-shot by Blizzard.
Opal's favorite color is purple.
G-Max Alcremie is out next and survives the Max Hailstorm. It gets off a Finale, and then dies to another Hailstorm. Opal takes me back to Winchester where she kidnaps Bede because pink. Now then Hop decides to block my path. He throws a tree at me and that gets destroyed by a beam of concentrated roast. And out next is Cinderace, who, believe it or not, uses Pyro Ball. I level Leaf up so he can use some much cooler moves, such as Quiver Dance, which I start out the fight using 3 times as Leaf gets confused. He outspeeds Cinderace and one-shots it. He then Bug Buzzes the Heatmor and kills it. He does the exact same thing to Snorlax, and then outspeeds a Boltund and kills it as well, meaning I've just beaten Hop. I then head over to the next major city and challenge the gym. It's Melony, and the Ice Gym. It's the same exact gym challenges in Sword, so I'm just walking around hoping I don't fall in a pit. Now then, after that kind of annoying challenge, it's Melony time. She starts out with a Frosmoth. Leaf goes in for a Bug Buzz to prove he's the superior one, and then I have him Quiver Dance against Darmanitan, but it also knows Fire Fang. So he eats his Citrus Berry. Leaf one-shots with a Bug Buzz. Askew gets Bug Buzz as well, and up next is G-Max Lapras. I have Leaf Max Flutterby. It barely doesn't kill, and Melony doesn't heal it, allowing Leaf to kill with a Max Hailstorm. With that, I've gotten my Ice Badge. I head to a restaurant and talk with Sonya and Hop about Legend stuff, and then we head to a bath and beat each other up. I have Leaf Quiver Dance thrice and then Blizzard double since tailing. The Quiver Dances allow him to outspeed Cinderace once again and one-shot with a Blizzard. Corviknight is out next and he also gets one-shot by the all-powerful Blizzard. Pinchurin is his final, and unfortunately for it, Leaf has one more PP on Blizzard. I then go and grab the TR for Ice Beam after trying a bunch of raids to find it. I also find the guy who gave me a bike being annoyed by Team Yell again, so it's up to me to beat them up. They then hop on a Dreadnought and run away like the cowards they are. I end up arriving in Spikemouth, where the gate is closed, though Marnie calls me over and lets me know that since she's from here, she'll let me in. I do have to fight her first before she truly lets me in though, so let's do that. Her Liepard starts with a Nasty Plot and then gets obliterated by Bug Buzz. Toxicroak gets taken out by an Ice Beam, and then she also has a Scrap. Oh, it got crit. Morpeko is out, and it does get a hit in, though it still gets one shot, and with that, I've gained access to the second to last gym, Dark. The Dark Gym trainers won't let me pass unless I have 2 Pokemon, so I go back and grab Beetle. The gym challenge itself is walking over to Piers. I get stopped by a bunch of grunts along the way though. Team Yell does show they're very acrobatic by jumping out of windows and backflipping away. And now it's time for one of my favorite gym leader fights, Piers. First is Scrafty, which tries to fake out, but Leaf has Shield Dust, which negates that. He then Ice Beams and kills. Malamar goes down to a Bug Buzz. Wendigoon is out next and uses an Obstruct, which only delays the inevitable. Skuntank goes in for a Sucker Punch, but goes down to a Bug Buzz, and with that, I've beaten Piers. So I have to go to Hammerlock Stadium. There I have to do the gym challenge, which is 3 double battles. The fight against Raihan starts out with Flygon and Gigalith, and sees the double battle in Weather Gym. The Gigalith ends up killing, and after losing quite a lot of times to Gigalith, and maybe being a little too trigger-happy with the candies from raid battles, I return with Leaf at level 73. I have him Blizzard in one-shot with Flygon and Gigalith. Out next is Duraludon and Sandaconda. I Dynamax instead of risking Blizzard to try and take out the Duraludon, and it one-shots due to overleveling. But hey, that's a good thing, I guess. The Sandaconda is left out and, dies very easily because it's a ground type. I take the train over to the nearest station to Winden. I make my way over so I can finally challenge the league. I finally arrive at the stadium, where I head inside and sign up. The first fight is against Marnie. She sends out Liepard, which gets Bug Buzzed. Scrafty comes out as well and gets Ice Beamed. Liepard uses Torment, so I have to attempt a Blizzard against Toxicroak, and thankfully it works! Marnie then sends out her G-Max Grimmsnarl. It gets one-shot by a Max Flutterby. Challenger Hop is next. I Quiver Dance turn 1 and get hit, but it doesn't do much. Double gets taken down with an Ice Beam. Corviknight is out next and it goes down easily. Snorlax tanks an Ice Beam and Heavy Slams, which is super effective unfortunately. Pinchurin dies easily to an Ice Beam, and finally is his Cinderace. I Dynamax first, then Hop does, and finally, we see Leaf outspeeds and uses a Max Hailstorm one-shotting Cinderace. And finally, I crush a little boy's dreams. After that though, I rest up at a hotel and get ready for the next round. However, we find that Leon went to Rose Tower, so we go there as well, but we have to find the keycard first. It's time for Macrocosmos Oleana. She starts by setting out Frostlass, which goes down to 1 Ice Beam. So Lazo outspeeds and incinerates Leaf's Citrus Berry. Thanks, man. Serena thankfully doesn't outspeed as it gets one-shot by an Ice Beam. Same with Milotic, which goes down to a Bug Buzz. Next is G-Max Garbodor, my second favorite literal pile of garbage. Garbodor gets one-shot by a Max Hailstorm. Now then, it's time for the finals. First challenger is Gym Leader Bede. Mawile gets one-shot by an Ice Beam. Gardevoir is out next and has the misfortune of getting Bug Buzz. Same goes for Galarian Rapidash. Leaf then sends out G-Max Citrine, but I forgot about it being his last. He then goes and heals Citrine as I Dynamax Leaf. I'm pretty overleveled here as Leaf ends up surviving and then one-shots with the Max Hailstorm. Next up is Nessa. Golisopod uses First Impressions, and it doesn't do a lot for once, as it gets one-shot by Bug Buzz. Pelipper is the next one out as it gets one-shot by an Ice Beam. Out next is an Oil Painting that gets taken down with a Bug Buzz. Arrokuda dies to Bug Buzz as well. Next is G-Max Dreadnought. Max Flutterby one-shots it. After that is Allister. Dusknoir is out first, and they'll basically be the opposite of last time due to the ghost-resisting bug. So I Ice Beam. Chandelure is out next and resists because of fire and survives, and it also gets off a powerful hit against Leaf. 3 Ice Beams kill it. Cursula is next and gets one-shot by an Ice Beam. Same with Poltergeist. Out next is G-Max Gengar. A Max Hailstorm one-shots. Next is Raihan, the Dragon Bitch. I end up losing round 1 due to Yawn. Next attempt, I use Blizzard so it can't Yawn. Turtonator is out next and gets one-shot by Ice Beam. Gudra is next out, and the predictable happens. Then Flygon, the Ground Dragon type, gets obliterated by an Ice Beam. I Dynamax Leaf as usual due to G-Max Duraludon. And as with everything else, it gets one-shot. Next up is Leo. Wait, Rose decided to blow everything up. Hop and I run into the Slumbering Weald, and we see 2 legendaries, but they retreat into the fog. I walk over and get the Master Sword pedestal, but it looks like Link got there first. I run over to Hammerlock and Oleana decides to ask me for help, so I go down and it's time to beat up Rose. He starts out with an Escavalier, which Iron Heads after surviving an Ice Beam. A second takes it down. Berserker ends up getting one-shot by Ice Beam thankfully, and Ferrothorn gets crit by an Ice Beam. Next is Clink Clang, which outspeeds after a Shift Gear and then kills the Steel move. This happens quite a few more times. I go back in, and this time, I don't get crit. A few more Pokemon, and this time the Blizzard hits and kills Clink Clang. Copperjaw is next, and Leaf is faster. I Dynamax Leaf and hit it with a Max Hailstorm, and thankfully, the resistance I got from Dynamaxing, I survive a Steel Storm. Thankfully, a second hit takes it down. I climb up the tower, see some weird thing called Eternatus. Leon throws a normal-ass Pokeball at it, and since he isn't Chugga Conroy, it breaks and doesn't get caught. It uses a Dynamax Cannon at Leaf, but he one-shots it with an Ice Beam. Next, it flies high into the sky and G-Maxes, leaving us in a raid battle with Hop. He and I pull out our cool weapons and 2 dogs show up. They get shot with cool magic lasers and get stronger. Leaf gets hit with a Max Flare before going for an Ice Beam. Dubwool uses Double Edge. Zacian and Zamazenta go for Behemoth Blade and Bash. Zacian nearly dies to a Max Flare. Then, Leaf crits on an Ice Beam and Zacian kills it. And, to show I'm better than Leon before beating him up, I use a regular-ass Pokeball to catch Eternatus. The 2 dogs jump off into the distance and are never heard from again. And with that, I've beaten... Oh, wait, right. There's still the Pokemon League. I still need to beat the crap out of Leon and make him regret ever becoming a trainer. He dramatically throws aside his cape as he sends out Aegislash. A Blizzard only does half of its health as it flash cannons, and I end up losing due to a missed Blizzard. Next attempt, there's a lot of missing and King Shielding. Next is Rhyperior, who gets one-shot by Ice Beam. Dragapult goes down to an Ice Beam as well due to being slow. A normal Haxorus goes down to an Ice Beam as well, as does Rillaboom. I Dynamax Leaf and prepare a Max Hailstorm, and Leon responds with a G-Max Charizard, which ends up getting one shot. And with that, I've beaten Pokemon Shield with only 1 Frosmoth. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join my Discord server linked in the description below, and have a wonderful day.